Going into 2026, my monthly book reviews is going to look a little different than it has in the past because the amount of books I've been reading recently has greatly decreased, having done other like projects, like craft projects and stuff like that. So instead, this year, I'm going to be sharing all the books I've read each month and give a 3 sentence or less review for them. Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter is about a woman who's very passionate about finding home and rehoming the wildcats within her community. And unfortunately, she's in search of a new home after her previous one was destroyed by a pair of dueling wizards. Unfortunately, the new home that she just acquired just may be co-inhabited with a elusive, dangerous dark wizard. However, they might just need to pair up in order to protect their home and the cats. This is another cozy fantasy by Heather Fawcett. But the thing that I love most about her characters and her main love pairs is that they're not fitting within the norm tropes that like the normal tropes we've been seeing for love pairs. Like the guy is, yes, a dark wizard, but he's super awkward, giving very Hal from Howl's Moving Castle vibes, especially book version Hal. And the female is a little bit on the older side, like she's in her 30s. She's lived a life, and also she proves her strength not with physical strength but with other means, and that is really refreshing when the vast majority of books show female strength being physical. Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher is exactly what romantasy books should be. It perfectly has a well-rounded, captured world. Simultaneously, though, we're thrown just in the middle of it, so we don't need to know everything about this world, but it feels completely lived in. And the main plot is a romance. It's not anything grand. It feels so mundane in everyday life. However, our story is about a paladin who think a knight whose god had recently died, which is bad because previously that was the thing that kept him from going berserk. Like this god would point him and his fellow knights in one direction and go, okay, go be killing machines, and then would stop them and prevent them from like harming anyone innocent, stuff like that. But now he doesn't have that. And a perfumer who, like, the two paths collide thanks to two assassination attempts and an otherworldly serial killer. But the thing I love most about this book is that it's subverting what would be the normal tropes, I guess you could say, of romantic pairings in books you're seeing nowadays, because they're older, they're in their 30s and 40s, and she feels like a real person and not a copy paste of other female characters, and has a real woman's body and has a complicated kind of history. And he, while being a buff killing machine, is riddled with guilt and chivalry and also loves to knit. Then I read Paladin's Strength by T. Kingfisher, which exists in the same universe as the previous book. Actually, we met the male main character in the previous book, but in this one, him and a fellow knights go off to hunt the otherworldly serial killer, and on their way, they come across a werebear nun who's on the hunt for her sisters that were kidnapped. That doesn't tell you enough. Not only is this a perfect example of what romantasy should be, it is doused in humor. These books are so funny. I am constantly laughing out loud. And again, following the trope or the trend I've been doing, it's subverting the tropes. Like, for example, a female main character's body is a combination of Brianna Tarth with Alana Mare, plus with a little bit more meat on her bones. Like, it's really refreshing to see someone like that. And she's so tall and he's so tall. And that's what kind of brings them together initially, because they understand being uncommonly big in this world and what the setbacks and pluses of all that being. And they're a really cute pairing. And he is very, despite being big, very gentle, very kind, very aware of other people. And it's refreshing to see in a romance story a guy that isn't overly aggressive, masculine kind of style, even though physically he looks like it. Emotionally and the way he interacts with others is extremely kind and the kind of guys you want to see in the world. And then we have Paladin's Hope by T. Kingfisher, which is the third out of 4 books in this series. Once again, we met one of the guys in the previous book, and I loved him in that because he is my favorite type of guy, which is the unapologetic flirt. But he's paired up with the city's mortician, I guess you could say, with some secrets of his own. This guy is very lonely purposely and elusive and cool, calm, collected compared to our paladin, who is riddled with a lot of problems thanks to having existed during a time when their god had died and they all had gone literally berserk till someone knocked them out, and a lot of their fellow knights had unalived themselves, not knowing what to do with their future, and he's one of only 7 left. But the 2 of them have a new serial killer in the city and they're on the hunt, which leads them to being trapped in a set of deadly trials and obstacles that they have to face. And during this, they already are attracted to one another, but they are pushed closer, get to know one another better. It's extremely cute. It's shorter than the other books, and I loved it. Finally, I'm actively reading a 500,000 word fan fiction. I'm about 40%, and it is a Hermione Granger Tom Riddle pairing, something I've been wanting to read for over a year because I am absolutely in love with the young Tom Riddle from Chamber of Secrets and have been for years. But this was the best one to start with. It's about Hermione who goes back in time to unalive an unborn Tom Riddle, but finds herself instead in 1950s when he's a 20-something-year-old on the rise to power. It is so good because it is gray. Not only Tom Riddle, because we don't quite know if he can be saved. It's showing signs possibly at this point in the story, but you also don't know if he's manipulating her or his potential feelings towards her are genuine. The tension is rich, but also Hermione is great. And I like that Tom Riddle is a great pairing because not only are they intellectually on the same level, but they are kind of two sides of the same coin when it comes to their beliefs and morality, and they're pushing one another. And I like that he pushes Hermione's morality. While it sometimes may seem good, he finds the flaws in it, in the exceptions, and is proving that, no view is perfect, that every view has flaws to it when applied to the real world. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I am super engrossed with it. I'm addicted when I'm not reading it. I'm thinking about reading it, or I'm daydreaming or actively dreaming at night about this fic. It is so good. And of course, keep fanfiction free. You can download it to your Kindle, which I did. And I'm thinking also of finding it for myself because this has been really good so far.